Good morning. Thank you for being so quiet and staying still here. I think you are a bit asleep, but we have had some technical problems this morning with QuickTime videos and so on. So I do apologize for COC and all the members and the staff who have been working hard. And I welcome Miss Susan Moody, because I know that she was here on time, but it's my fault that some videos didn't work, so I do apologize. I'm going to introduce her, because you know that we are, in 2 minutes we are going to start, and the topic goes about how technology can change education in the developing world. And our keynote speaker, Susan Moody, is a director of marketing and communication for worldreader.org. I don't know if you have already been able to enter the website, but I promise if you enter, it will change your lives, I'm sure. You know that she started to work for some different startups both in the US and in Barcelona, including Icon Media Lab and Teletech. And what are her famous points? What can we point out from Susan? Of course, she fully believes in the power of books. And she thinks, and I think that we can fully agree with that books, the power of books, can enrich kids' lives and shape their dreams. So if you have got dreams, you can fulfill them. Susan received her BA from Princeton University in 1994, and MBA from JCI in Barcelona in 2001. World Reader's mission is to bring books to all in the developing world using an e-reader technology. The NGO currently has the largest pilot of e-readers in the developing world. More or less 500 e-readers in 6 schools in Ghana, and have just launched a second pilot in Kenya with 65 e-readers. They are, of course, they've got a lot of partnerships such as Amazon and more of course, important partners. But after her kind words she's going to explain, remember that if you want to join the worldreaders.org, not only funds are accepted, of course, I suppose that funds are accepted, but more important, the partnership. You can spread out these now, and it's really a new NGO, and sometimes the more important, because there are big companies, of course, who are already giving funds, but to be helpful to spread that there is such an organization, and it fits with JCI members always think we have to do to be active citizens and to prepare everything in the world to make a positive change. So I am sure that worldreaders.org are therefore such a good match with JCI. Thank you very much, Susan Moody, for being here, and you are welcome to start. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for that illustrious introduction. Again, my name is Susan Moody, and I am the Director of Marketing and Communication for World Reader. We are a nonprofit based in Barcelona, and as he said, our mission is to bring books to everybody in the developing world using e-reader technology like the Kindle or the Nook. Who here has a Kindle or a Nook and uses e-readers? One person? Okay. But everybody knows what a Kindle and a Nook is, right? Okay. Well, today I'd like to talk about, I read a lot about 2 different debates. One is technology, sorry, where's my clicker? Oh, here. Okay. I read a lot about the debate of technology and how technology is going to affect education on the one hand, and on the other hand, how technology is going to affect the developing world. Today, I'd like to merge these two together and talk about technology and its effects on education in the developing world. So there's no doubt that technology is already having a massive change in the developing world. Just to step back and sort of give a bird's eye view, in the developing world we have 5.6 billion people, whereas in the industrialized world we have 1.2 billion people. But if you look at some key drivers that sort of measure, historically, that have measured technological penetration, you have cars in the developing world that's at a low 11%. You have landline penetration at less than 8%. But then you look at cell phone technology, and you see in the developing world that's 50% today, which is a massive number. And that's a number that is forecasted to grow 6% every year for the next 10 years. And this is going to mean great things for education in the developing world. If any of you have traveled around Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, you've seen it yourselves. There are cell phones everywhere in the developing world. And there are something like 80% of the world's population has access to a cell phone signal. Okay, so now talking about technology and its effects on education. There's a lot, people talk about laptops and how that's going to affect classroom education. People talk about tablets, and people talk about e-readers. I think in the developing world, all three of these technologies will have their place. Today I'm going to talk about the e-reader because that's where World Reader, we're focused on the e-reader. And I have to say, on a personal note, I, as a mother, am a huge fan of the e-reader because it is a sole purpose device, the sole purpose being reading. So it's an electronic gadget that I have no problem giving to my children. In fact, for Christmas, we gave my daughter a Kindle, and we live in Spain, and it's very hard for me to get English-speaking books for her. Sorry. And here's a screenshot of the last 2 weeks of what she has downloaded and what she's reading. These are books that it would have been physically impossible for me to get. She's read 100 books in the last 5 months. It would have been physically impossible for me to get 100 English-speaking books here in Barcelona. And not only is it physically impossible, but it's also interesting to note she's reading things that she is interested in. And these are titles that I would not have necessarily known would have been interesting for her. For example, I don't know if you can see that all the way back up to there, but she's downloaded Dork Diaries 2. I would not have necessarily chosen that title for her. So this is the reality of what we have in Africa today. These are schools in sub-Saharan Africa. They're exposed to the elements. There's no electricity. Many of these students will do their entire school career without ever owning a single book. Africa has been burdened by poor logistics, poor infrastructure, and that's, if you think about the decision for people, when people historically have sent reading materials from the United States or from Europe to Africa, think about the journey that book has to make. There's somebody, in California who's choosing a book, and then that book has to get itself over the ocean, and then down the roads and into these schools. So, and then oftentimes when it arrives, it's not necessarily a book that is interesting to a child here. I'll tell you a quick anecdote. In our first trial in Ayenya, Ghana, we went to the school's library that had 10 books. And these 10 books were the same book, and it was the history of Utah. And we thought, of course, these children are not going to find this interesting whatsoever. And so in November of 2010, I traveled with my colleagues with World Reader to Ghana, where we launched the largest e-reader pilot in the developing world, 500 e-readers in 6 schools in Ghana's eastern region. And I have to say, it is incredible to see this technology work there, and it really does work. Students are used to cell phones, so the e-reader is an easy gadget for them to learn, and just seeing their faces, seeing their faces after they finished one book and knowing they can get another book in 60 seconds is magical. So e-readers, this is a technology that was made for the developed world, but it happens to suit the needs quite well of the developing world. It uses the widespread cell phone technology that I talked about earlier. So basically, books are being downloaded onto e-readers like text messages. There's, in 60 seconds, children and teachers have access to over 700,000 books. The e-readers themselves hold 3,500 books. So that's holding a library in their hands. We always say to the kids, do you feel like you're strong enough to hold a library in your hand? And they say, no. And we say, now with this technology, you are holding a library in your hands. And they think, whoa. they instantly get the impact that this can have. This is technology that we have Moore's Law on our side here. This is a product that was $400 less than a year and a half ago, and now it's closing down on $100. We think that price is going to keep going down. So it's falling, the prices are falling naturally. And it has a very long battery life. This is why I asked if any of you had a Kindle in the room, because you charge your Kindle in 1 hour, and that works for 2 weeks straight, as opposed to your iPad or your iPhone that you have to charge every single day. And then what I think is fascinating about it is putting the power of choice into the hands of students. We have students who tell us, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a journalist, mechanic, a football player, and with this e-reader, I can now achieve my dreams. And it's interesting to note, from the minute they got their e-reader, they are downloading material that is directly related to what they want to be when they grow up. We have students who want to become doctors. They're downloading material on health and medicine. We have students who want to be journalists. They're downloading the New York Times and the International Herald Tribune. There was a cute little boy, Gideon, who told me that he wanted to be a football player when he grew up in Europe, and he's downloading facts on Messi. He's downloading ESPN football playbook. So it's putting the power in the hands of the students and teachers. I'm going to press play for me. This is really quick. This is showing the results of what has happened down there.
My name is Eurpean, a teacher of KD Presby Primary 4. Engages them all the time. I have had students who have improved in their writing, their speaking ability, and then their reading ability.
Going to see Papa in the village. Since I have the e-reader, everything has really changed.
So what has changed?
My reading has changed.
Using the e-reader, they are searching, they become curious.
purchase new bicycle and learn it against the wall.
Oh, child.
Sorry, it's ironic that in a slideshow about technology that my own technology is failing me. That was just a video we released that where we have showcased, we just released the results of the standardized tests. In the last 6 months, since our students have had e-readers, their results in the classroom have improved dramatically. Students, on average, their reading comprehension has improved by 13%. Their diction, their fluency has improved. And it's important to note that a lot of these children, their parents don't know how to read. So when they're going into their homes, they're not, they don't have a parent who's reading to them in the homes. And e-readers have a function called text-to-speech, which the device will read to the children. And dictionaries, they're using the dictionary like crazy. Every time they see a word that they don't know how to use, they're looking it up. So it's having a correlation between they're reading a lot more and they're improving in the classroom. So I'm not talking about something that's going to have a big impact in 20 years. I'm talking about something that's having a big impact today. This is technology that already exists. We're not having to create the technology ourselves. And then just looking at what's happening in the publishing world today, I remember a year ago, Amazon published results saying that hardback books had been overcome by ebooks, and the whole world thought, whoa, what is going on here? And then just last week, Amazon published that ebooks are outselling paperback books. So this is a seismic shift in the publishing world, which means wonderful things for students and teachers in Africa. I'm curious. World Readers model heavily incorporates teachers. We spend months working with the teachers in the classroom before the e-readers ever go into the classroom. And this is really important. Teachers have not had exposure to so many books historically. They love the introduction of the e-reader, and I've had teachers tell me, before they had no variety, and now they can use whatever materials they want to use in the classroom. We have teachers downloading Dante's Inferno, Shakespeare's As You Like It, just the whole world of books. We are also digitizing African books so that local stories are available on the e-reader. So we have, the teachers have run wild with e-readers. And this was a picture taken in Kenya just 2 weeks ago on day 3 of teacher training. We came up the little hill where the school was located, and we saw 3 teachers sitting underneath a tree reading to each other. So who knows what the future of technology will look like in education in the developing world. I can't quite picture what the device will look like even in the next 2 years. It could look something like a cell phone that meets a Kindle that has a touch screen, and it could be something, it could be a device that in the developing world that is different than what we see in the developed world. But I do know that the change will be world-changing. Any questions?
You said the battery power was 2 weeks. How do you charge the books?
Okay, so right now, that's a great question. Right now, we have built like little charging stations, and so students come in and they have a routine about when they charge their e-readers. But we're talking right now with solar-powered manufacturers to make that a solar-powered solution. Yes.
Nicholas Regnitzer from Denmark. Very impressive project and your achievements. Have you met any challenges or limitations to the technology that you've had to deal with? I've seen similar projects where they've had problems protecting the infrastructure of the project because it's of such high value compared to the economical, well, that's economical value and so forth.
Are you asking specifically about theft, or are you asking more about the durability of the device?
Theft, breakdowns, maintenance, any challenges that you've met?
Okay. When we've moved into our different communities, we incorporate the whole community. So we go into the churches, we have community leaders talk about what is happening, and they feel like they're making history. And so far we've actually had no problem with theft. But there is, I mean, it is true, like there are some people with e-readers, and then there are many people without e-readers. And that's just we have to prove that this works, and this is what we tell them. We have to prove that this works before we can get e-readers to all of you. So they respect that. I think they all want one. And then in terms of durability, it's a surprisingly durable device. It's not ruggedized. That's probably, out of all the wonderful things about the e-reader, the cell phone technology, the ability to store so many books, probably the thing that we would most like to change is the ruggability of it. And we work with, right now we have a partnership with an e-reader case manufacturer. They have given us, you see here the blue cases. Those are donated by M-Edge, which is a e-reader case provider in the United States. And so that helps a lot. And we're looking for new options down the road. Anybody else? Yes.
Good morning. I am Mark from Barcelona. One comment, there's the English bookstore in Balmes with Provença. Maybe you know that. I'm a frequent user of the library with quite an important variety of books. The question is, it's not clear for me, when did you start the overall project? When did you start the overall project?
Okay.
Plus, how it works. You mentioned some sponsorship with Amazon, but how it works in general. So, I would say, like the business case, or what is your business plan in this case to develop this impressive project, of course.
Okay, so first question is sort of the chronological, like when did we start, what have we done? And then you would like to know about our partnerships. Is that correct? Okay. We started, a year and a half ago. We did a small pilot in Barcelona in a classroom to get, just to see how the e-reader worked in the classroom. Then we did another pilot in Ghana where we got proof of concept. We were asking ourselves, is this even a possibility? Could this work? And all of our doubts were proven to be null. And so then we raised the money to do the larger pilot that we're conducting now. And then we have, Kenya just launched 2 weeks ago. We literally get an email every other day of people saying, we want to do this in India, we want to do this all over the place. As we move forward, the way we have launched in Kenya is through a partnership, and that's a way that we can grow rapidly. And our goal is to be in 1 million children's hands by 2015, and that can be done together with partnerships and together with governments. In Ghana, we're working with the Ministry of Education there. They're studying it very closely, and it is quite possible that Ghana will be the country with the highest e-reader penetration in the world, like very soon. They're thrilled about what they're seeing. In September, we're upping 500 to a undetermined number still at this point, and it'll still keep growing. Partnerships. So we are only as strong as our partners are. Amazon has been wonderful. They give us a small discount on the technology, but more than anything, we have somebody within Amazon who's just focused on Worldreader, and they help us push content. So we have sent, in 6 months, we have sent over 5,000 books to Ghana, pushing books, a combination of pushing books and the students and teachers pulling books. That would have been impossible at this point in time if you didn't have any friend in Amazon. I think it's important to note that the founder of Worldreader was number 2 at Amazon between 1999 and 2004, I think. And he was responsible of growing Amazon from a $16 million company to a $4 billion company. So he hired many of the people that are working on the Kindle. So it's crucial at this point in time to have an inside way to communicate with Amazon. We work with other partners. Random House has donated hundreds of titles to our program. We have authors who have stepped forward and said, I want to give my book to children in Africa, and it's very easy for them. They just have to give the digital rights to Worldreader, and then we can send hundreds of their art to children in Africa. And we work with USAID, which is an arm of the U.S. government. They're helping to fund we're doing a lot of sort of external studies to measure the effect of e-readers in the classroom. So those are and we have other partnerships in the pipeline, which are very exciting, and I wish I could say what they are today, but just keep watching. Anybody else?
Good morning, Jean-Marc from Tarragona. So I wanted to ask you, with this impressive project, when you've got these e-books, is there a net, or is it another goal to have university teachers or high school teachers who can adapt activities? Because I know that with e-books, what I've read till now, there are plenty of things, but sometimes for teachers who are using e-books, there's a lack of graded activities. I don't know if it's the point, or you're still searching for partnerships and that's so on, but if it is a goal to have people who are helping, preparing graded activities for different levels, I don't know.
Yes, and that's something when we were talking with, and this happens a lot in the publishing world, different publishers, both in Africa and here, are looking for ways to enhance the teaching experience. So yes, we are talking with different providers of that all the time, and we're actually working with, we had a teacher, an American teacher with us in Kenya, and she was so inspired by what she saw there that she is working to export African literature into her classroom into the United States. So there's going to be, for teachers both in Africa and worldwide, there's going to be a nice effect for this as a result of this technology.
Can I repeat?
Yeah.
It's not clear for me if Worldreader is an NGO or a company. first of all, and second, if you are looking for volunteers or people to support you, and I don't know, on any kind of volunteering activity.
Yes, we are looking for volunteers. All of us right now are working on a volunteer basis, everybody, including the founders. And yes, we need human capital. We need help in order to grow, to reach 1 million kids by 2015. And we are a nonprofit 501c3 in the United States and a fundación here in Spain. Although we consider ourselves to be more of a social enterprise, because there is a business model around this, which we are going to put back into the fundación in order to grow and reach many children.
I wrote my thesis on the Kanya project, which is a Cape Townian project spreading out IT into Western Cape schools. And we analyzed the key success factors for replication. And one of the things we found was, especially what your colleague mentioned, the ability to interact with the technology in an intuitive way. So my question was, does the Kindle, I'm critical to whether the Kindle supports all subjects within the classroom, especially those who would profit from more interaction and kind of measure the learning, the increase of learning within the pupil mass.
The Kindle, right as it is today, it's a device that, as I said earlier, I think because of the widespread penetration of cell phone, it is picked up like this. Children are reading within seconds, and teachers as well. And I think it's a technology that will, as content also adapts for the e-reader, this will continue to look different as things move on. We digitize all the school curriculum. So they have all their science books, reading, history, everything, plus storybooks. It's not great at the moment for math, but I think that this is a device that, as content grows, it'll be incorporated. I think math and math can be incorporated in in animation. I think that's a possibility.
Any question? No. Well, I have one question.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Do they have, this is the first device they have, or do these children from Ghana and so on, India, have seen computers, have had cellulars? So, because it's very strange for me that they have directly this device before knowing other things. It's like we are taking the first world to the second world in such a strange way for me,
Yeah.
And well, because my son, who is doing the second grade of secondary school, is doing everything with netbook since last year, and they don't have e-books, so it's gradual, no? And they are used to all these devices. So it sounds to me very strange that they receive this as the first thing.
I think they see it really as like a bigger cell phone. They're used to cell phones. They see it as a bigger cell phone with books, and they're like, whoa, I can't believe I